Winston Peters, accusing the media of taking bribes.
Winston's allowed to make his remarks in the way that he chooses. He may not express it in the way that I do it.
Mr. Peters believes the government's public interest journalism fund compromised the media's independence.
So no, you cannot defend $55 million of bribery. Get it very clear.
Christopher Luxon doesn't like the fund either.
Well, for the very reason that it actually leads to perceptions of bias, rightly or wrongly. That's the perception.
Created in 2020, the Public Interest Journalism Fund was $55 million over 3 years. Administered by New Zealand On Air, criteria included a commitment to the treaty. Names you'd recognise received funds: RNZ, Stuff, NZME and Discovery New Zealand. TVNZ received funding for Q&A with Jack Tame.
With the media and journalists, are they independent? Well, that's not fascinating. I've never seen evidence of that the last 3 years. You cannot defend $55 million of bribery. Get it very clear.
The government had bribed the media through the Public Interest Journalism Fund.
I think there have been critics of the Public Interest Journalism Fund, the $55 million, from across our society, and I think Winston's just been reflecting that. I think what's at issue is a policy which Winston Peters disagrees with, which I think David Seymour has said that he disagrees with, that many people disagree with, that involved a $55 million fund for journalists, and which created a perception that that was the government influencing journalists.
How to bribe the New Zealand media. How to brainwash your mind. Most of you will have heard about the $55 million bribe the failing Jacinda Ardern Labour Party government used to keep the New Zealand news media silent on many issues that were detrimental to the government's divisive socialist ideology. The $55 million bribe comes from the Public Interest Journalism Fund. News organisations have a source for guidance on how they should include Maori and Treaty of Waitangi issues in their organisations and reporting. Some document samples. Now, I can't pronounce half of these words, so you can sort of read it as I go along, but this framework is grounded in the Treaty of Waitangi and mass media obligations to Maori as blah blah blah. These are instructions to the media. Mass news media organisations need to consider, explore, build on and implement this framework in ways that show commitment to blah 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 blah. This blah 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 blah. Maori have never ceded sovereignty to Britain or any other state, and goodness me, you have to go download and read this, but it's basically saying we have to answer to Maori. This is in English, so I can read this. The New Zealand news media. Because of the failing Jacinda Ardern Labour Party government's disgraceful bribe of $55 million to silence the Kiwi media, many New Zealand reporters are now nothing more than a bunch of third-rate op-ed writers. What a shambles, what a disservice to the New Zealand public, what a bunch of misinformation, disinformation, scam artists some of them have become. And some press outlets even have the audacity to charge you to read their crap. Take a look at New Zealand television. They spend half their time speaking dual languages, of which the vast majority of people don't understand. But hey, that's what the Jacinda Ardern government wants. That's what Kiwi taxpayer money buys.